The billionaire mindset, ladies and gentlemen, today we're not talking about bank accounts, we're talking about mindsets. The billionaire mindset isn't just about making money. It's a way of thinking, a way of living, and a way of seeing the world differently. It's what separates those who dream from those who do. Billionaires aren't born, they're built, not with luck, but with vision, grit, and discipline. They fail more than they succeed, but they never quit. While the average person sees a problem, they see an opportunity. While others play it safe, they invest in risk. The billionaire mindset is about long-term vision, relentless growth, and an unshakable belief in oneself. They don't wait for permission. They create their own path. They don't follow trends, they set them. If you want to build wealth, create impact, and leave a legacy, it starts in your mind, not in your wallet. So I ask you today, are you thinking like a billionaire? Or are you letting fear, comfort, and doubt decide your future? Because the truth is, you don't need $1 billion to have a billionaire mindset. But with the right mindset, $1 billion might just follow. Thank you. This simple statement is one of the most defining aspects of the billionaire mindset, and it carries within it a philosophy that fundamentally changes the way a person interacts with the world. Most people, when confronted with problems, tend to react emotionally. Fear, stress, frustration. They may back away, avoid the challenge, or look for a shortcut around it. But those with a billionaire mindset do the opposite. They lean in, they dissect the problem, look at it from every angle, and ask themselves one powerful question: what is the hidden opportunity here? This shift in perspective is everything. Take the example of entrepreneurs like Elon Musk. When others saw the cost of space travel as an insurmountable barrier, he saw a gap in the market and a chance to innovate. When the world struggled with inefficient transportation systems, he saw the potential for electric vehicles and tunnels. Problems, in his mind, were not just things to be solved. They were doorways to building entire industries. This mindset begins with training your brain to think critically under pressure. Most people react to problems emotionally. Those with a billionaire mindset respond strategically. They break problems into parts. They identify root causes. And most importantly, they look at the long-term impact rather than short-term discomfort. They realize that every crisis carries within it the seed of breakthrough innovation. Look at history. The greatest innovations came during or just after periods of deep crisis. The 2008 financial crash? It gave rise to new financial technologies. The COVID-19 pandemic? It accelerated advancements in healthcare, remote work, and digital infrastructure. A billionaire mindset understands that chaos often precedes transformation. Where others see danger, they see untapped markets, unspoken needs, and unclaimed value. This also speaks to the idea of proactive problem solving. People with a billionaire mindset don't wait for problems to hit them in the face. They anticipate them. Quote, they build systems, products, and services that preempt issues before the crowd even realizes those problems exist. Think of Amazon under Jeff Bezos. He didn't just build a bookstore. He foresaw a future where speed, scale, and convenience would dominate commerce. Every logistical challenge became an opportunity to develop one of the most efficient supply chains in the world. What's important here is not access to money, connections, or technology. It's about mental posture. It's about becoming someone who doesn't flinch at challenges, but studies them with curiosity. It's about training your mind to reframe obstacles as puzzles waiting to be solved. Where others see too hard, the billionaire mindset sees no one has solved this yet, so I will. Another critical aspect of this mindset is patience and resilience. Not every opportunity is obvious. Sometimes you have to sit with a problem for days, weeks, even months before the opportunity reveals itself. People with this mindset are willing to do the uncomfortable mental work that others avoid. They're not looking for instant gratification. They're seeking long-term value. The process involves listening deeply, observing patterns, and asking better questions. A person with a billionaire mindset will hear a complaint from a customer, and instead of dismissing it, they'll ask, how many others feel the same way? What if we could fix this better than anyone else? They don't get defensive, they get curious. Problems become insight generators. This perspective also removes fear from the equation. When you truly internalize the idea that problems are potential, you stop being afraid of them. You no longer view failure as a threat, but as a data point. You move quicker, take smarter risks, and iterate constantly. Because even if you don't crack the opportunity on the first try, you know it's there, and you know it's yours to claim if you stay focused long enough. In the end, the way you view problems determines the quality of your solutions. The billionaire mindset is not about avoiding hard things. It's about running toward them with eyes wide open. It's about believing deeply that every problem contains a hidden opportunity big enough to change your life, your business, or even the world. They embrace failure as fuel. To most people, failure is something to be avoided at all costs. It's viewed as a dead end, a sign of inadequacy, or even personal defeat. But in the billionaire mindset, failure is not the end of the road. It's an essential part of the journey. It is treated as feedback, not finality. People with this mindset understand that every great success is built on a mountain of failures. The average person is taught to fear failure from a young age, getting the wrong answer on a test, making a mistake at work, or launching an idea that doesn't work out. But billionaires flip the narrative. They believe that if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. They expect setbacks. They welcome them. And most importantly, they study them. Because each failure carries information, and that information is gold. Think about someone like Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She openly talks about how her father used to ask her at the dinner table, "What did you fail at this week?" He would celebrate the effort behind the failure. That kind of upbringing built a mindset that saw failure as a sign of growth. When Sarah pitched her idea for Spanx, she was rejected by multiple manufacturers and investors. But instead of stopping, she learned from each rejection, improved her pitch, adjusted her product, and eventually launched a company that became a billion-dollar brand. That story is not unique in the world of billionaires. Failure is a prerequisite. Steve Jobs was ousted from Apple, the company he co-founded. That could have been the end of his career. Instead, he went on to start NeXT and invest in Pixar, ventures that not only revived his career, but helped redefine entire industries. When he returned to Apple, he was more experienced, more visionary, and more resilient than ever before. What separates those with a billionaire mindset from everyone else is how they respond to failure. While most people retreat and lower their ambitions after a setback, billionaires analyze, adjust, and advance. They don't take failure personally. They take it seriously. They ask, "What did I miss? What can I do differently next time? What lesson is this trying to teach me?" This attitude toward failure also fosters a sense of freedom. When you're not afraid to fail, you're free to experiment. You're free to take bigger swings, dream bigger ideas, and build things that haven't been built before. That freedom is what leads to disruptive innovation. It's how new markets are created. And it's why billionaires often operate at a level where others don't even think to reach. There's also a layer of emotional intelligence in this mindset. People who embrace failure are more self-aware. They recognize that perfection is an illusion, and that mistakes are part of mastery. They know that real confidence doesn't come from never failing. It comes from knowing that you can bounce back when you do. Failure also strengthens character. Each setback demands patience, humility, and persistence. It forces you to confront your ego and improve your approach. Over time, this makes you mentally tougher and more adaptable, qualities that are non-negotiable for long-term success. The billionaire mindset doesn't just tolerate failure, it uses it. Failure becomes fuel for reinvention. It becomes the raw material from which new strategies, better products, and sharper thinking are forged. And as one keeps moving forward, those failures eventually become stories of resilience, moments that shape the mindset and stepping stones to greater achievements. In this way, failure is no longer feared. It becomes familiar. It's not a punishment, it's preparation. It's not a setback, It's a signal that you're pushing boundaries and reaching for something worth achieving. They play the long game. One of the most distinguishing traits of individuals with a billionaire mindset is their ability to think long term. While the majority of people focus on immediate gains, short-term rewards, and instant gratification, billionaires operate with a different timeline. They're not chasing today's applause. They're building for a future that might take years, even decades, to fully unfold. This ability to delay gratification, endure uncertainty, and invest in long-term outcomes is what sets them apart in both mindset and results. Most people are wired for short-term thinking. Society reinforces this through fast media, quick paychecks, one-click purchases, and the pressure to show immediate results. Success is too often measured by how fast something grows or how quickly it pays off. But billionaires resist this trap. They understand that real wealth, meaningful impact, and lasting legacy are not built in a quarter or even a year. They are the result of sustained focus, strategic patience, and deep commitment over time. Think of someone like Warren Buffett. Often called the Oracle of Omaha, he has become a global symbol of long-term investing. Buffett didn't become a billionaire overnight. In fact, the vast majority of his wealth was accumulated after he turned 50. By making disciplined, long-term investments in companies he believed in, and by avoiding the temptation to react to short-term market noise. His philosophy is simple but powerful. Time in the market beats timing the market. He understood that compounding wealth is a game of endurance, not speed. This mindset applies far beyond finance. In business, billionaires build companies that are designed to last. Jeff Bezos famously told early Amazon shareholders that he was building a company for the long haul and would not sacrifice long-term growth for short-term profits. At the time, it frustrated investors. Today, it's clear that this vision is what allowed Amazon to become a dominant global force. Bezos understood that laying the groundwork early, investing in infrastructure, innovation, and customer trust would pay dividends far beyond what short-term thinking could ever achieve. Playing the long game also means making decisions that may seem unpopular or counterintuitive in the moment. People with this mindset often go against the grain because they are guided by a vision that hasn't materialized yet. This requires courage. It demands a high level of self-belief and clarity of purpose. It means being willing to look like you're losing in the short run while you're actually positioning yourself to win big in the long run. This mindset extends to personal growth and skill development too. Billionaires are lifelong learners. Learners. They understand that investing in knowledge, relationships, and health will compound over time. They read, observe, ask questions, and surround themselves with people who challenge their thinking. They know that you can't microwave greatness. It takes years of learning, refining, and evolving. Another key component of long-term thinking is resilience during slow seasons. There will be times when progress seems invisible, when growth is slow, when the return on effort isn't immediate. But billionaires are not easily discouraged. They understand that these periods are part of the process. They use them to sharpen strategy, strengthen foundations, and prepare for the next phase of growth. The long game mindset also helps avoid burnout. When you're only chasing short wins, every setback feels like a disaster. But when you're playing for the long haul, you gain perspective. You realize that one bad day, one failed project, or one missed goal is just a blip on the radar. It's not the end. It's just part of the journey. Ultimately, the billionaire mindset is one of vision, patience, and perseverance. It's the willingness to plant seeds today that won't bear fruit for years, to stay committed when others give up, and to build something that outlives trends, outlasts competition, and outgrows expectations. This is the difference between momentary success and monumental legacy, between chasing the now and owning the future. They don't follow the crowd, they lead it. The billionaire mindset is fundamentally about leadership, not just in the traditional sense of managing people or running a business, but in the way one thinks, acts, and responds to the world. While most people are influenced by trends, public opinion, and social validation, those with the billionaire mindset are independent thinkers. They do not wait for permission, nor do they look sideways to see what others are doing before making a move. They lead by vision, guided by conviction and clarity of purpose, not by consensus. Following the crowd is often the safer, more comfortable path. It feels secure because you're doing what everyone else is doing, but safety rarely leads to breakthroughs. The crowd thinks within the boundaries of the familiar. Billionaires, on the other hand, thrive by stepping into the unknown. They spot value before others see it, believe in ideas before they're validated, and take action long before the mainstream catches on. One clear example of this is Steve Jobs. At a time when computers were considered tools for large institutions and corporations, Jobs had the vision to put a computer in every home. He wasn't reacting to consumer demand. He was predicting it, didn't he? He didn't wait for focus groups to tell him what people wanted. He saw what was possible before anyone else and built toward that future. That's what leaders do. They shape reality instead of merely responding to it. This approach requires both courage and clarity. The courage to stand apart from the crowd and the clarity to know what you're standing for. When you're not following others, the path is often lonely. There will be skeptics, critics, and naysayers. People will tell you your idea is too risky, too different, or too ambitious. But the billionaire mindset isn't swayed by noise. It's rooted in inner confidence and long-term vision. It values originality over popularity and progress over approval. This mindset also fosters innovation. By not being tied to what is currently accepted or popular, individuals with a billionaire mindset give themselves the freedom to explore, experiment, and disrupt. They don't build better versions of what already exists. They redefine categories. Think of Elon Musk launching SpaceX to revolutionize space travel when many thought private spaceflight was impossible. Or Oprah Winfrey creating her own network because traditional media no longer aligned with her vision. These are not acts of imitation. They are acts of creation. To lead the crowd rather than follow it also means being comfortable with delayed recognition. Many of the greatest innovators were misunderstood or dismissed in the beginning. When you're ahead of your time, the world may not catch up immediately. But those with the billionaire mindset don't let that deter them. They keep building, refining, and pushing forward, not for applause, but because they believe deeply in what they're creating. This mindset also reflects a certain emotional independence. People who lead rather than follow don't need constant reassurance. They don't seek validation from social media, from peers, or from the marketplace in the early stages. They trust their instincts and make decisions based on vision, data, and principles, not on what's trending. That kind of emotional resilience is rare, but it's essential if you want to create something truly impactful. Leadership in this context isn't about controlling others. It's about setting direction. It's about seeing the future and helping others see it too. It's about becoming the reference point that others eventually look to. And most importantly, it's about being bold enough to go first. The billionaire mindset doesn't wait to be led. It steps forward, breaks ground, and creates momentum where there was none. This way of thinking doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from clarity and responsibility. When you believe you can make a difference, you act differently. You don't just accept things as they are. You challenge them, improve them, and reimagine what they could be. You become a creator in a world full of consumers. That is the essence of leading rather than following. They act boldly, think fearlessly, and believe relentlessly. The billionaire mindset is marked by an extraordinary combination of bold action, fearless thinking, and relentless belief. These three traits work together to create a powerful internal engine that drives individuals toward outcomes that others deem impossible. While most people are held back by doubt, hesitation, or fear of failure, those with this mindset act with a level of conviction that seems almost irrational until it succeeds. Bold action is the cornerstone. People with this mindset don't wait for the perfect moment because they understand that perfect timing is a myth. They know that hesitation is the enemy of progress. When they see an opportunity, they move. They're not reckless. They calculate risks. But once they decide, they commit fully. Boldness in their world is not about being loud or flashy. It's about being decisive, courageous, and willing to face uncertainty head on. This kind of boldness also shows up in how they set goals. The billionaire mindset does not settle for average. These individuals set goals that are so big they scare most people. They aim to disrupt industries, change lives, and solve problems on a global scale. While others focus on incremental gains, they focus on exponential leaps. And this isn't just about ambition, it's about believing that playing small serves no one. Bold goals create bold actions, which create extraordinary results. To support bold action, they also cultivate fearless thinking. Most people censor themselves mentally before they even start. They think, oh, that's too unrealistic, or who am I to try this? The billionaire mindset doesn't entertain those limits. Instead, it asks, why not? It challenges assumptions, questions traditions, and rejects limitations. This kind of thinking is how new technologies are born, how groundbreaking businesses are built, and how entire markets are reshaped. And then perhaps most importantly, there is relentless belief. His belief is not blind optimism. It is an unshakable inner certainty that what they are building matters, even if no one else sees it yet. This belief sustains them through setbacks, criticism, and periods of doubt. It is what keeps them going when external results haven't caught up to the internal vision. It is belief that fuels persistence, consistency, and resilience, the quiet, invisible forces behind every major success story. Relentless belief is what allows these individuals to continue showing up even when things are hard. They understand that success is not always immediate, but effort must be. They trust in the process and their capacity to grow and in the value of the work they are doing. Even when they fail, they do not lose belief. They adjust, they reframe, and they come back stronger. All three traits, bold action, fearless thinking, and relentless belief, feed into one another. Acting boldly reinforces confidence. Thinking fearlessly opens new doors. Believing relentlessly provides fuel during tough times. Together, they create unstoppable momentum. This is not a personality trait. They are habits that are built, strengthened, and reinforced over time. Those with a billionaire mindset are not superhuman. They simply choose to operate differently. They choose boldness over comfort, courage over caution, and belief over doubt. And through this choice, repeated consistently, they create results that most people only dream of. Their lives become a reflection of the risks they were willing to take, the doubts they were willing to silence, and the visions they refused to abandon. They invest in self-mastery before external success. At the core of the billionaire mindset lies a deep understanding that lasting external success is only possible through internal mastery. While the average person may chase wealth, status, or recognition without fully understanding themselves, individuals with a billionaire mindset begin their journey by turning inward. They recognize that without mental clarity, emotional discipline, and personal growth, no amount of money or external achievement can create a stable foundation for success. In short, they focus on mastering themselves before attempting to master the world. Self-mastery begins with self-awareness. People with the billionaire mindset invest time in understanding who they are, their strengths, their weaknesses, their triggers, and their patterns. They ask hard questions. What motivates me? What am I afraid of? What limiting beliefs are holding me back? This process of honest self-reflection is not always comfortable, but it is necessary. Because when you understand yourself deeply, you can make better decisions, avoid self-sabotage, and lead with authenticity. A huge part of self-mastery is emotional control. Control. The journey toward great success is unpredictable, often filled with stress, rejection, and periods of uncertainty. Billionaires learn to regulate their emotions. They don't react impulsively to failure or success. They respond with intention. They've trained themselves to stay calm under pressure, to make decisions based on logic rather than emotion, and to use setbacks as fuel rather than reasons to quit. This emotional discipline becomes a superpower in high-stakes environments where others might crumble. Discipline extends beyond emotions to daily habits and routines. The billionaire mindset is not built on random bursts of motivation, but on consistent actions rooted in intentional routines. From morning rituals to time management strategies, they take ownership of their days. They understand that how you do anything, it's how you do everything. So they approach even small tasks with focus and excellence.